Have you ever wondered what it would take to breathe on Mars? Imagine standing on the red planet, looking at its vast dusty landscape, only to realize you can't take a single breath. Unlike Earth, Mars doesn't have the oxygen we need to survive. So, how can we make oxygen on Mars? And why can't we just use the same technology we have on the International Space Station? Let's dive into the fascinating science behind making oxygen on Mars. NASA, SpaceX, and other space agencies around the world are racing to send humans to Mars. But it's not just about getting there, it's about surviving. Unlike Earth, where oxygen makes up about 21% of our atmosphere, Mars's atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide with only trace amounts of oxygen. That means astronauts will need a reliable way to produce breathable air, because carrying it all from Earth? That's just not practical. The International Space Station, ISS, has been producing oxygen for astronauts for over 2 decades. It uses a process called electrolysis, where water is split into hydrogen and oxygen using electricity. The oxygen is then used for breathing, while the hydrogen is either vented into space or combined with carbon dioxide to create more water. But here's the problem. Mars doesn't have an abundant supply of liquid water like Earth. To use this method, we'd need to extract ice from deep underground, a process that's incredibly challenging and resource-intensive. Plus, the ISS relies on supply missions from Earth to replenish water and other resources. On Mars, we won't have that luxury. So, what's the solution? In 2021, NASA sent a groundbreaking experiment to Mars aboard the Perseverance rover, MOXIE, or the Mars Oxygen In-Situ Resource Utilization Experiment. Unlike the ISS system, MOXIE doesn't rely on water. Instead, it takes carbon dioxide directly from Mars's atmosphere and converts it into oxygen. So, how does it work? MOXIE first collects Martian air, which is mostly carbon dioxide, and compresses it. Then, using a special process called solid oxide electrolysis, it heats the carbon dioxide to around 800 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, the molecule breaks apart, releasing oxygen, which can be used for breathing or rocket fuel, and carbon monoxide, which is safely expelled. The best part? This process requires only electricity, which can be generated by solar panels. It's a huge step toward long-term human survival on Mars. MOXIE is just an experiment, but it has already proven that making oxygen on Mars is possible. The next step? Scaling it up. Future Mars missions will need much larger versions of MOXIE, machines capable of producing tons of oxygen, not just for breathing, but also for fueling rockets for the journey back to Earth. Scientists are already working on larger systems that could make Mars habitable for humans. The ability to create oxygen from Mars' own atmosphere is a game changer. It brings us one step closer to living on the red planet. But this is just the beginning. Many more challenges remain before Mars can truly become a second home for humanity. Will we see the first human colony on Mars in our lifetime? Only time will tell. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.